Hello, I'm Pascal, and I run a service called Sharpen.page, a product sharpening service. And today we're going to be talking about ingredients. Ingredients for creating a page, or product page, or landing page, a marketing page, either for your product or for your service. And so let's start. Ingredients. And we're under the impression that we need certain types of ingredients when you're creating a page. Like you will be needing a logo, will be needing headings and images. What else? Clever text so that we can convert our visitors. And so then after that, once we have the ingredients, we can change the shape and we can do different things. Like this page, for example, and that's, is this a quality page? Is this a page that works? This one too, a video in this case. So video. And then this one. After a while, you start realizing that they all look the same. So it's no surprise that you get stuff like this, where you get like basically a template, where you've got capture their attention with your big product's biggest benefit, and then images and what is your product, what problem does your product solve. It's a good idea at this point, but maybe it's too far down. Maybe depending on the situation for your visitors. And another call to action, and then you can download this template basically, or you can change it up a bit, like this site here, where it's not a typical layout. It's kind of interesting. You've always got that screenshot on the left. So you're under the impression that those are your options. And so when you make a page, you make sure you got all those ingredients. And then after that, voila, you make it interesting. You make some clever text. And then you convert, apparently. But then you got sites like this, for example, which are surprising in that they don't have the same ingredients, but yet they work. So I don't know what to write tests for. So this is a site where it's selling this ebook plus video package, and it's not starting with the actual product, and it doesn't have a logo even. It just has text at the beginning. And then this one, you're invited to Freelance Camp, a community I'm part of, which is a discourse forum that for freelancers. This one, where no fancy logo, but like something kind of unique in the way that he's formulating it. Reduce your costs. Stop losing time and money fighting against Excel. That's interesting, And you need to upgrade your process. Imagine this, and then you got stuff like these are interesting. Okay. How about this one? What makes this one stand out is that confidently not trying to do things the same way everybody is. Like you've got stuff in the right spot, but at a certain point that the author of this website stopped and said, enough is enough with certain things to optimize for. So we'll get back to this the idea of what to optimize those, which ones of those ingredients to optimize for. This one, big text with a statement, and then a long page. And this one is for one of my service offerings. I've got quotes, and I've got other things, and one of those layouts as well. So let's talk about ingredients, and specifically the ingredient that I think when you ask yourself the question, which ingredient should we optimize for? Is it the logo? Is it to like optimize a better logo or optimize better images or optimize better headings? And maybe you're thinking, oh, well, it's about balance, right? Well, I'm thinking there's a big ingredient here that we're not talking about and that is kind of important for landing pages. And that ingredient, I would say, would be called the forces of progress. It is an idea, a concept that was brought about by Bob Mesta and Chris Speck from the Rewired Group. That's where I heard it from. And they map out what's going on in the mind of the buyer that are pushing and pulling in different directions to say, I want to buy this, or I don't want to buy this. So all these things that are going on in the mind of the buyer are important when you create a page. The knowledge of what's happening in the mind of the buyer becomes an ingredient, and upgrading and optimizing your knowledge of these forces, to me, is an important ingredient in making a page. So, so here are the forces of progress. So quickly, you've got 4 of them, and you've got 2 top ones and 2 bottom ones. The ones at the top are go toward purchase and toward a yes, this, now, basically. The 2 at the tops go toward that, and the 2 at the bottom go toward not this, not now, or I'll just. So these things, these 2 forces at the bottom go towards something that we call non-consumption. I decide to not buy anything. And then you've got the 2 forces that are on the right, and then the 2 forces that are on the left. The 2 forces on the right, attraction to the solution and anxiety is about the solution. They are about the reaction, the buyer's reaction to what you're offering. And the ones on the left are about the buyer's context, the struggle, and what's called their habits. The context you don't have any control over, but the reaction you do have control over because you can present something differently. Okay? So knowledge of the context and putting together something that will fit the context is really what is up to you to discover. So now let's go through each one. The struggle of the moment is what starts everything for the buyer. It is the catalyst that gets the ball rolling. It is what starts the momentum. Essentially, they may have something in their minds brewing over time, but at a certain point they get off their chair and they say enough is enough. I need to do something to change. I need to get away from something and towards something new. And that will take a long time. It may take a long time before they even come on your page, and they might come to your page really late in their journey toward some kind of progress that they want to get done. Especially if your product is consequential. Like if you're selling a commodity, then like who knows really what they're here to do, and it's pretty mindless that they'll buy it. But if your product is really consequential, or if your service is really consequential, they'll probably be hesitating a lot before even doing something about it. And so that starts the journey and pushes them off their chair toward something new. Then they fall on your site. Then they fall on your site, and then there's something attractive about it. Oh, it's going to change something about my situation. I'm going to be able to do this with that. And so they sort of fall in love with it. They fall in love not with the product, but the idea of how that product or that service will change the situation for them. So it's attractive and they feel compelled. But then they're starting to get some anxieties about, what you're offering. And, you might think, what are the anxieties that they may have? Oh, it's going to be too expensive. You might think that that's a great anxiety to be addressing. And so it's tempting for you to say, well, I'm going to reduce my price. And I would say, hold on a second, there's tons of other anxieties. And then there's if they have too many anxieties and they basically say, my struggle, it's not so hard, my struggle isn't going out that much. And yeah, it's attractive, but it's not, whatever. I think I'll just do it myself. So I'll figure it out. I won't do anything about it right now. Is basically all the things that they currently use in their life, the mishmash of solutions that they have to get the job done for them, for whatever it is. I'll just use people that are on my team already. I will just continue to use the same tools that I've been using. I'll just put this off till later. So those forces are at play in the mind of the buyer as they think about your solution, think about your product or your service. And they're at play, and they change throughout their journey down your page. So as they go down the page, you've got your elements here, and as they go down, they will have different reactions. The struggle may be, more felt as you describe it to them, as you describe the struggle back to them and say, I understand what you're going through. They may say yes, and then they become really attracted to it. But then maybe at some point they get really second guessing what they're going through, and these struggles are kind of small and compared to the I'll just statement again. And so they will revert back down to something else. And then you'll be thinking, oh, that's too bad, and my page isn't working. But the thing is that you can know that these things are going to happen, that the forces are going to be different depending on their reaction to what you're presenting to them on the page. So you can either reassure them, or better yet, you can recognize that your biggest competitor is all those I'll just statements, and adjust your page accordingly. So I'll give you an example. On this site here, for my my service offering, there is at the top I talk about all the struggles that they may be going through. People are canceling their subscription. Things are not working as much as I'm hoping for. People are buying our product for surprising new use cases, and I'm wondering whether I should change something about it. And I don't know how to talk to my customers, and so more stuff about what they might be seeing. So I'm relating it back to them, and I'm using repetition, which is fine, but in a different format. What they might be going through, so that they can scan the page and hang on to some words. They won't read everything, but they will surely scan, keep their eye on the left, and things are going to start going in their minds and say, yes, I'm going to tell me more. Okay, and then this is the solution. Okay, I get it. And then they may have some anxieties like, what about this? What about that? And here I'm saying explicitly, I can't work with you unless you have some recent buyers, for example. So now the anxieties are going to be bigger, and they may be thinking, no deal, basically. I can't really work with this at this point because I don't have this. But what I'm doing here is I'm catching this situation, which is totally okay. I said, you could try doing it first. How about you try doing it yourself? And here's how I would do it. So by doing it this way, I'm totally okay with the fact that I'm competing against them doing it themselves. But I'm still helping them through the page. Meaning that in their journey now, they realize that they've been helped by the page. They've been enlightened by the possibility of this solution. But now they have new information, and now they're going to be doing something different. But I can still serve their desire for progress using, at this point in the page, if they scrolled all the way down here. But then they'll start looking, okay, this is how you do it. It's a bit like this guy here who said, here's how it works: strategy, road mapping, implementation, maintenance. You get a bird's eye view of how it's going to be. So it reassures, or it also educates. So it either excites or it says, not for me, etc., which is totally cool. In this case here, I'm showing you exactly what I'm going to be going through in order for you to be attaining your goal. But then I'm saying, at this point here, maybe the person's saying, the struggle is going to be felt, a different struggle is going to be felt, and that struggle is, I don't have time. I don't have time to learn this. And I'm sold, but I don't have time. So the struggle now becomes about not having the time. So at this point in the page, we're now more than halfway down the page. There's a new struggle and a new set of forces with that new information. And so now I have this way to skip down to the questionnaire to get started. If they just like scroll all the way down, basically. And to have the questionnaire, this is the next step. And then boom, that's how it works. And so, given your knowledge of the struggles, the forces of progress and how they act on the user, you can tailor the page so that you can address a new mini struggle that happens further down the page, and not think of your page as a single finish line page. There's not a single outcome for this page. More that your page is there to help your visitor make some kind of progress. So conversions are not the thing you want to optimize for then. And you don't want to optimize all of your page elements so that to increase conversion. What you want to optimize everything for is you want to optimize for trust. They'll come back, they'll spread the word, they'll feel as though, you're a partner with them or that product has been helpful, etc. And so that's, for me, why I think the force of progress become an important ingredient in creating the kind of page that I think you might want to consider building. So regardless of the type of page that you want to be building, even if you want to be building a page that's a bit like this, or a page that has some of the more normal or widespread layouts, knowing the force of progress and how they will change throughout the page, addressing anxieties and helping people shift to a different strategy, for example. And that's going to be giving you a lot of confidence to say, my page actually works. And you can put a lot of confidence in that. So I hope this was useful. And I will be creating more of these videos specifically about struggle first pages, but also about other things that are important about how to create a page for your product or your service. I'll be making more of these videos. So if this was useful, I hope you subscribe or check out the other things that I have for you. I've got articles too that go over a lot of these other things, which some of which I'll be turning into videos. Hope that helps. I'll see you next time.